Good morning, oracles. Well, we've had now about 5 days of wild ride information coming out of Tesla. What's the direction that they're going? Are they going to be going in the direction of robotics? Where is FSD? What is the future of Tesla? And so over the weekend, a lot of investors have had the time to sit back, let everything absorb into themselves and figure out, all right, what is really going on with Tesla? And so a lot of people initially, as we saw with the stock, the reaction was, why is Tesla going in this direction? Elon needs to not be on these earnings calls anymore. He completely ruins them, brings the stock down. Can't argue that point. He spoke. A lot of people don't like it. We've seen it in the past, and the stock price suffered because of it. But the stock price suffered short term because of it. It was only 2 days, folks. 2 days it was red. It was green on Friday. And we're starting green as of right now, pre-market at the time of this recording. We're up over 2%. So sure, we had 2 days, and yeah, one of them was 11% down. That was a stinger. But it was 1 day. We don't know what the future is going to hold. Maybe the stock comes down another 50%. We don't know. But chances are, and I'm betting on the fact that it's going to be going up a lot more than 11%. So let's start looking at this long term. We can look back and say, Tesla has made some terrible decisions in the past. Elon has had some stupid things in the past. The stock has crumbled because of the things he has said. And then look where the stock went. It was up 740% in 2020. So ask yourself, yes, did it come down for a couple of days? Yeah. Where do you think it's really going in the future? Well, now you ask yourself, we've got, the focus right now this year is going to be on Optimus and FSD. All right, well, that is the future. It doesn't mean that they're going to stop producing EVs. They're still leading in EVs. They're just so comfortable in their ability to produce the EVs that they can now focus on the next thing. Everybody talks about competition is coming. Well, how are you going to overcome competition? Well, we believe that Tesla does have the best technology that is out there, and they're far ahead of everyone else. But there is still going to be competition. Well, in order to separate yourself from the competition, you need to reinvent yourself. You need to get comfortable with disrupting your own technology. Well, that's what Tesla is doing. Tesla is now getting comfortable with disrupting their own business and their own company by producing Optimus and FSD. And FSD is going to separate them from everyone else. And then FSD is also going to be used in Optimus, which is then further going to separate them from all of the other automotive makers. And one of the biggest arguments most bears have is the fact that Tesla should still be valued as an automotive maker. Well, they just laid down the groundwork last week to say that we are not just an automotive maker. We are so much more. We're in robotics. We're going to be creating robots that are going to help around factories that are going to lower our gross margin and help other companies do the same. And in turn, Tesla will then gain revenues from selling these robots to other companies. They're going to be leading in artificial general intelligence. They're going in that direction. Elon said on the call that software is where the majority of their profitable revenue is going to be coming from in the future. So they are a software company. We're just not there yet. And so you can say, all right, well, show me the money. Prove it to me that you're going to be there. And understandable, sure, a lot of people are saying, well, show me where it's at. Well, 10 years ago, Tesla was just starting to do the EV thing. And those people who said, show me where it's at, waited 10 years and then got in, maybe a little later than they wanted to, but they got in, and they're not making the same profits that everybody else did when they saw the path and the writing on the wall. Well, we're at that convergence again. We're at that point where Tesla's writing it on the wall and saying, this is where we are going. And those people who are saying, you know what, I'm going to wait and see till it actually happens. All right, I believe it's going to happen, and this is where it comes down to your faith in the company and your faith in Elon. Dave Lee had some tweets with Elon over the weekend, and Elon stating that he is the one who is leading these projects. And it's not because he wants to, it's because he needs to. We don't have clarity on that. Maybe it's a need because nobody else can do it, or maybe it's a need because, personally he needs to do it because that's just how he operates. We'll get some clarity on that, hopefully. We don't know. But either way, Elon is still leading these projects. And that's why, for me personally, I think Elon is saying that he wants to step away from being CEO. He still is. There's not a real strong second in charge that can take that role over. But Elon needs to focus on the engineering side of things. Elon running these projects should be chief engineer because that is where his strength is. Obviously, we saw by the way he talks on the earnings calls, being a CEO talking on earnings calls is not his forte for many people, as they don't like the way he speaks on those calls. So yeah, you know what? Maybe Elon should step down once he gets a second in charge and he can just focus on these projects. But as of right now, Elon has said before he is not going to be on earnings calls unless there is a big thing going on. And so I'm guessing we will not see him on any more earnings calls over the course of this year until maybe the Q4 earnings call again. So that taken back, we are now here well past this. People have had a chance to digest all the information that they have given us. People are now looking and saying, all right, so it's not that Tesla's not going to be delivering EVs. They are still continuing on that path. They're just setting up themselves for a different groundwork going forward in other areas. So again, the stock today up over 2%. So where is it going to trade for the rest of this week? Well, the macro environment seems to potentially be going in a direction of, green. We were talking last week about a rally starting for the next 2 weeks to 3 months. How long that's going to be, who knows? Could turn into something, with Ukraine and Russia that may throw a monkey wrench into things. But we can see the stock gaining some room. It's trading at the lowest PE it has ever traded before. So it looks like there's a lot of room to grow, and people just needed to digest this information to be able to really look forward and say, where is the stock going to trade in the future, in the 2023, 24, 25 range? And, what is this FSD? Can they actually pull through and have level 4 autonomy by the end of the year? And I think over the weekend, a lot of the Tesla social media PR team, the Rob Mauers, Stephen Mark Ryans, Dave Lees, Gary Blacks, did a great job of explaining to people what this actually means for the company going forward and why, it's not going to take away from their EV market. They're still moving in that direction. They're so heavily demanded right now with their cars that focusing on just the Model Y, which was their plan anyway, doing that just for this year to be able to pump out as many vehicles as possible is the wisest move as a business decision that they could make for the year. And then going into next year, they can start looking at different projects. They're still going to be telling us about a new factory that is going to be coming out in the future. They're still going to be focusing on the engineering for the Roadster, the Cybertruck, the semi-truck. They still have all of these things in the works, and the $25,000 car is something that they're working on, just not currently focusing on it at the moment because they have bigger fish to fry. So looking at all these different things, it's not like they are taking away from their EV market. They're still going in that direction. They're still focusing heavily on that. They just have a future project that they're working on. And Elon is personally taking on the Optimus project because that is the 5 to 10 year down the road direction that the company is going to be going. And that is the direction that's going to separate them from everyone else. And this is where now we're looking at the stock price starting to make this turn back. And people are like, all right, their EV numbers are still there. They're still going to continue to grow these EV numbers. They didn't take a step back from any of that. They're still growing that side of the business. They are still going to be strong and dominating this market for the next foreseeable future, 3, 5, 10 years. Okay, now people are breathing a sigh of relief and realizing that was a bit of an overreaction. We can now get back into this game and really start to move the stock price forward again because we understand the direction that the company is moving. And despite all of this news, despite the macro environment, we are still seeing bears and bulls alike raising price targets and estimates for the next 12 months. So this is one of the things I go back to when it comes to analysts is look at the general consensus. Look at the trends that are moving forward. The trends are everybody is moving forward in this direction. Even Gordon Johnson is increasing estimates for the course of the year. And so because of this, that is the foundation and the fundamentals of the company. In turn, that will raise the stock price target. In turn, that will raise the stock price. So yes, short term, we can see swings up and down, but that is short term. Long term, we will still see the stock price going up. And once people start to see the reality of FSD coming true, the reality of robotaxis coming true, and then in turn, the reality of Optimus coming true, they will start to continue to raise their price targets based on that S curve that we are about to ride up. And so as the stock price is starting to recover, some of us do look at technical analysis and looking at these stock prices as they go up. We've got mostly psychological resistances at 900 and 1,000. 1,000's going to be the big one to break through. So we're going to start moving up. There's no gaps that I have seen that are left to fill up or down. So we will be moving all around the place. So if the macro environment stays strong, I think that we are going to do fine. We do have the CPI data coming out on February 10th. So that'll be something to pay attention to as we move forward in the macro environment. Otherwise, it is just look long term. For those of you who are long-term investors, you just got to ask yourself, do you have faith in Tesla's ability to come through with FSD, which in turn will make robotaxis, which in turn will make Optimus a much more viable product as well going forward? Questions only you can answer for yourself. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think that the direction that Tesla is going to garner themselves in a massive, huge S-curve for the future that is going to take the company to a 10 to possibly 50x where they are now? Let me know. That is a decision that only you can make, but I would love to hear your feedback. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have not subscribed, please do so down below. Sign yourself up for notifications. I am over on Twitter at OracleTim1. I share all the latest Tesla news, pertinent stock market information, as well as all of my daily trades over there. Otherwise, I will see you guys all later. Thank you so much.